So Benny's just finding out that his fans are nerds, or a lot of people in hip hop are nerds. Like I what's good, YouTube? Like, let's just get straight into it. Like, this is just, I was thinking about this all last night while I was at work because I watched another video by somebody on YouTube. I forget his name, but Benny the Butcher. I think you guys have already seen it. It happened last week. This is like old news at this point, but it's still something that I like. I still keep seeing people talk about, and I had a whole argument with my friends about this stuff. Like my friends that care about hip hop as much as I do, and love hip hop as much as I do. Also, we were having the discussion about the whole Benny saying that like the nerds are controlling hip hop and the streets can't control the narrative anymore, or anything like that, and I understand the context of what Benny is saying when he says the nerds in hip hop. He's talking about, you know, like the CEOs, the tech bros and stuff like that too, or like the I guess you can say like the content creators and the streamers and stuff like that too that talk about hip hop. And I guess he doesn't see a lot of people that probably look like him come from the era that he came from, that are either speaking on hip hop and hip hop media. Because if you've seen in the past like couple years, people, I don't know where people are getting this narrative from, that streamers control hip hop and streamers decide that hip hop that they decide what's cool in hip hop or anything like that. But I don't feel that way. I've never felt that way. I've never seen these dudes, these niggas, as being like the ones that are that should be telling people what is cool, what isn't cool in hip hop and stuff like that. Now, there are some streamers that I think are cool that like Sean C. I wouldn't call him a streamer. He's not a streamer, but he does stream. I feel like he's more of a YouTuber to me. But over the past few years on his Sean C. Highlights YouTube channel, he's mostly been just streaming. So I guess I'll just say he's a streamer just for the sake of it. But he's one of the ones that I think that is more within the culture of it, understands hip hop the most, has some of the best takes that I've seen on hip hop. You can also look at other people like Read My Soul too. Like he has a lot of great takes on hip hop. Lil Bill, of course, even FD Signifier, like Dom from Potty Mouth. Even he has like some good takes sometimes about hip hop. Sometimes but Dom has a lot of good takes on his channel as well. And it's so many better other people that you can watch talk about hip hop, either on stream or on YouTube, that look like me or look like any of the other black people that I know that are constantly talking about hip hop like that. So I don't understand why they, like, some people, I don't know if anybody takes XQC seriously like that, but sometimes people talk about XQC and his opinions on hip hop a lot of the time, which I don't even know why we're giving him even the time of day when it comes to that. I don't know why for a second people ever take XQC seriously in any type of way whenever it comes to hip hop opinions. But I digress. I want to get back to the main point, is that Benny the Butcher is talking about these nerds in hip hop who are controlling everything. The streets don't have any power in the world of hip hop, or just in the music industry in general. But newsflash, buddy, newsflash, Benny. And I love your music, Benny, so I'm not trying to even disrespect you or anything like that. And I think most people who are reacting to what you're saying aren't trying to disrespect you either. But newsflash, the streets haven't controlled hip hop in a very long time. I will say the streets stopped controlling hip hop immediately, and if anybody disagrees with me, that's fine. But I feel like the streets stopped controlling hip hop immediately after Run DMC got that Adidas deal, went full commercial, and after that it was completely different. It was completely different. The streets, I don't feel like, had much control over hip hop. Once hip hop went the commercial route, the streets had no say over it. And I remember a long time ago, I was watching a documentary about this, about the early days of hip hop and stuff like that, especially with like Sugar Hill Gang, for example. Anybody can correct me. Do your research, do your hip hop history and stuff like that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this is what I have heard from interviews with like Grandmaster Caz, or like Grandmaster Flash, or like a lot of the earlier, a lot of the founders of hip hop that I've seen them all have this take before. Sorry, I gotta watch my dog again. But what I've seen a lot of the founders of hip hop say was when Sugar Hill Gang put out that first tape, that first tape of them rapping, a lot of them didn't like that because hip hop in that era, it wasn't something that was supposed to be sold and commercialized, and it was supposed to something that was supposed to be live, enjoyed in the moment, and stuff like that. Like that's how they described it. So them putting it on wax and them selling and distributing it, it was kind of like sacrament. Like it was, or sacrament might not be the right word. It was like blasphemy. That's right. That's the right word. That's the right word. It was blasphemy for them to be able to do something like that. So that could be probably one of the maybe one of the earliest points in hip hop history that you can see that like the commercialization like starting to happen in that sense. So now we come to the modern day era. A lot of even a lot of street dudes that rap that are either part of like, you know, BMF, the Black Mafia family that Benny has, or that are adjacent to Griselda. A lot of the, not even just them. We can look at rappers that are from the streets, from the South, from the East, even here in Chicago where I stay, in the West Coast. We can see all the time that it's a lot of rappers that sell out. Young Thug sold out, essentially. He kind of had to. The Young Thug sold out. It's hard for me to give any examples right now because I'm really trying to think about it right now. But there's a lot of rappers that have sold out. I mean, Benny himself. I'm not saying just because Benny signed to like Def Jam. I think Benny is signed to Def Jam. Even Benny himself signed to Def Jam, and I don't want to say he completely sold out in a way, but he kind of did in the sense like once you sign to a label, you know what comes to that. That's the argument that I always have with my friends too. It's just that like, once you sign to a label, once you make that commitment to them, for however many albums you're going to stay with the label, I'm not saying you essentially like sold out or anything like that, but you basically allowed the label to step into your environment and be able to control certain aspects of it. So you cannot control the full narrative or anything like that. So like the nerds that Benny is talking about in hip hop, I understand what he means. I just wish he would have used a better term. Like I hate when rappers, they use a term or a word that kind of generalizes people, except for directly talking to the people that they should be talking to. Like not just rappers in general, but anybody really. Like if you want to talk to somebody directly, you don't have to say names, or say the actual group who you're talking about. You don't have to say the nerds, because a lot of people, I'm not going to say it went over anybody's head, but I know that nerd word really gets to people because it can have a bad connotation. Maybe Benny wasn't saying it was like I don't think Benny was saying it was a bad thing to be a nerd or anything like that, but it can have a bad connotation because a lot of rappers are nerds. Like a lot of them like anime, a lot of them like kung fu movies, or just like Asian culture in general. A lot of them like tech, like a lot of them like some of the greatest people, even one of our founders of hip hop, Grandmaster Flash, if he wasn't such a nerd trying to figure out how to be able to spin the records that he was spinning to be for MCs to really even rap over, we wouldn't have break beats. Like we wouldn't, or not break beats, but we wouldn't have like the ability to sample and mix stuff together live like that. Like we wouldn't have hip hop in general if Grandmaster Flash wasn't such a nerd and he learned how to build on the tech aspect of hip hop. So I understand why a lot of people were upset with that nerd terminology. I just wish Benny would have used something else entirely, but Benny is like completely wrong on this, because for the longest amount of time, hip hop has not been controlled by the streets at all. I can't remember the time where like the street dudes have fully been able to control whatever narrative that they've had any time like that. And that's why I, in the middle of the argument that I was having with my friends, I was telling them like, if Benny, like I'm getting sick of like Benny whining about it, because it's just like, it's if this was maybe, I want to say maybe if this was like maybe like 2019 or 2020, when Benny wasn't as like big and successful as he is now. If it was back then and Benny was saying this, like I could understand it a little bit more. Most people are even theorizing right now the reason why Benny is even like talking like this is mainly because he didn't sell as much on his last album as he wanted to. And he was also saying in his talk that he wants to control the narrative. He wants to control the narrative. He wants to be able to sell directly to the people that he thinks are valuable enough to listen to his music. He doesn't want like the nerds or the people that don't understand like the culture, or especially like just the street culture, also to be able to listen to his music. And my thing is, if you want that for yourself, if you want that type of audience, I mean, he's already cultivated the audience. Like, it's millions of people that listen to him. All the old niggas at work, they are always talking about Benny whenever I come around. They always listening to him, and they love listening to him. So my thing is, if he wants to be able to do something like that, if he wants to be able to deliver his music to a specific audience, he can build that environment. Like, he can go, I think at this point, Benny is able to go independent. He would still be able to tour and stuff like that. He would be able to sell merch and stuff like that. He could build his own website. If Kanye's dumbass was able to sell people on those dumbass stem players, I'm pretty sure Benny can sell his music directly to the consumer. I think Mach-Hommy, or it was either Mach-Hommy or Baldy James that I think I had heard of, that was selling like their music directly to their fans. They built their own website, built their own infrastructure to be able to sell directly to their fans, because they've already built and have some type of equity with their audience enough to where people will buy the music because it's just that good to them. So I don't understand why Benny can't build that for himself, why he doesn't see any value in that, why he thinks it's necessary for him to have to stay with a label, other than like, you know, distribution, promo and stuff like that. But I feel like he can do that himself. He can build his own team, do it himself. And I'm not even saying everybody can do this. I'm saying specifically somebody like Benny the Butcher, or people that make either adjacent music to him or in the same genre as him. If you built the equity with your audience enough to where like you can build the infrastructure for that, and you can maybe control the way that you distribute it and the publishing of it as well, and you just build your own team and have your own infrastructure, like he will be fine. He will be able to do it. I know Benny can be able to tour. Benny can be able to tour in Europe. Benny could do a national tour here in the US, and he will be fine. Like, I don't understand where his frustration is really coming from, because we should all know by now that a lot of the media that even that's in hip hop isn't owned by black people. A lot of the labels that a lot of these people sign to aren't owned by black people. Even if they are owned by a rapper, they are just a subsidiary of a larger label. So it's just like, if the main label fails, that artist label might fail as well too. So it's weird to me. I don't understand why Benny is really complaining about it. I wish he would stop and just realize he could do it on his own. But maybe some people don't want to do that. Maybe some people don't want the responsibility to have to do that. But I feel like if he really wants the power in his own hands, and he really wants to be able to actually do something, he should just get up, go out there and go do it, because I know he has the ability to do something like that, and he can build a team around him to be able to succeed in it. But thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. On to the next one, man. But Benny, I hope you'll be okay. He'll be all right.